Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hi, welcome to the Sticky Thoughts podcast.
Here we talk about the thoughts that stuck to us. We get curious, we get honest, and we try not to spiral, but no promises.
So, we are your hosts,
This is Kajal Singh.
and this is Smriti Kamath. And on this podcast, we are showing up not as psychologists, but as friends who are also psychologists.
Yes. Hello, welcome to the Sticky Thoughts podcast. Here we talk about thoughts that stuck to us. We get curious, we get honest, and we try not to spiral, but no promises. We are your hosts. This is Kajal Singh.
And this is Smriti Kamath. And on this podcast, we are showing up not as psychologists, but as friends who are also psychologists.
Woohoo! This was supposed to be our first episode. We recorded this episode, but it did not get recorded, which is such a bummer.
Yep.
But now here we are. This episode made a lot of sense to shoot as the first episode because it is on sharing your opinions on the internet.
Terrifying.
Terrifying for real. We were coming from such a vulnerable place when we shot this episode earlier because the fact that this podcast took so long for us to come together and actually decide to record a podcast and like make a podcast channel was because we were a little scared because I think we did not know how much to share and how much would be too much or too less, and how we will be held accountable for what we say, etc. It is scary. What if we get cancelled for saying something wrong, for making a mistake? So I think it was quite a bit of a journey for us to now get settled at the thought of just, sharing our conversations. It is a conversation between my friend and I, and we're just talking, and you get to listen to it. So it's fun.
Disclaimer that we have not started posting these podcasts. We have recorded some of them. So
Yeah.
this is not the very first one anymore. So there's a little bit more practice that we have in recording them. But still, we are not used to really putting our opinions up there. And this is something that we were discussing. We're scared of making like a post or something like that, where you have to directly share your opinion on the internet. And we were talking about how it's different when you're maybe sharing a reel on your story or a post on your story that you agree with, because you are essentially plus oneing somebody else and they have already put their opinion out there, and there's comments on that section, whether agreeing or disagreeing or whatever, and you are just agreeing with their opinion and you are okay with expressing that. But when it comes to expressing your own opinions, it becomes a lot more difficult. I think that still is kind of the case for me because we also still have not started uploading this. I think that with the podcast, a little bit of what's different is that this is still to some capacity a conversation,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's still a bit intimidating when it comes to knowing that even though this is a conversation, this is between just two people. And for example, if I say something that does not make sense to Kajal, and Kajal is like, "What are you saying? That is making no sense, girl." She can say that to me to my face, and then I can either maybe change my opinion on it or rephrase what I'm saying, and or maybe she misunderstood what I'm saying, and that's possible in conversations. But here, of course, I only have access to Kajal's opinions and Kajal's perspectives. But of course, this conversation is going to go out there and be up there, and maybe people who resonate with Kajal and are also thinking along with her, ki, what the hell is she saying? So they can agree with Kajal and be like, oh yes, I'm glad that Kajal pointed this out. But there's going to be still so many opinions and perspectives that I still wouldn't know. There's going to be so many clarifications I can't make. And I feel like that thought bugs me a lot. So that is why this is still kind of an intimidating experience, but it's better than just voicing my opinions out into the void of the internet, because it's not like, oh, I said it. Now it's out there. And now somebody's commenting something on it, which makes a lot of sense. And when I'm reading that, I'm like, oh, yeah, they are right.
Mhm.
I didn't think of that. So I would like to change my opinion, but then because it's I don't know, it just feels like when your opinion is out there in the internet, people perceive it as you have this one opinion that's just gonna stay like that.
Yeah.
As well as I feel like maybe you also get a little bit committed to what you've said because I don't know, maybe you're put in a defensive position or something like that. What do you think, Kajal?
I think it makes total sense, Priti. There is also this matter of control that comes into picture. Just like you said, if I'm having this conversation between you and I, then we can talk, we can have a proper conversation. If I don't agree with something that you say, that I will voice it out, and then you will explain how it makes sense to you, and then we will end up somewhere to a conclusion where maybe I agree with you, maybe I don't agree with you, and maybe we'll say ki, okay, yeah, oh, you think like that and I think this way, and all right, we'll move on. But on the internet, that control is not in our hands all the time. So if I post something very opinionated and then I get lots of comments about how this does not make sense to this other person, and maybe I reply to this one comment, say ki, oh, this is what I thought, and maybe I understand where you're coming from, but I'm coming from a different place, etc. But what if I get 10 comments? What if I get 10 comments? What if I keep getting comments? And what if this person is not willing to have a conversation but really just trying to impose their opinions, or just maybe matlab, impose how they're against my opinion?
Or
So that,
troll?
yeah,
Worse.
just troll. So, what am I supposed to do with that? I would feel so vulnerable that, oh, I shared my thoughts
Mm.
here and now I'm getting attacked for it. Keep reminding myself I'm still struggling with it, but I think I keep reminding myself that this is me sharing my thoughts. It's not a fact. I usually try not to tell people what to do or what they should not be doing. So, I think what we struggle on the internet with is that we think that this is what they're saying, and if it is clashing with my thought, then it's a problem, or I have to make us agree to be able to move on now. Another thing, that we sort of reduce people to their one post.
Mm.
We don't know the backstory, we don't know the context, we don't know what they were doing from the time they posted last. So we sort of really end up reducing people to how much ever of we see of them. Especially if I'm not your friend, if I don't know you as a person, and if I only have you as an acquaintance on the internet, on my social media, then I will happen to reduce you to
Mm.
that just one post that you share. So I think
Mm.
that puts all of us in a very difficult position because we're ever evolving, ever changing. And it was just that one thought that popped up to me in that one moment. That's not the whole me. It can't be the whole me.
And the part you said about the comment, I don't know, this is like gonna be a very stupid thing to bring up, but like it's even called a comment, you know? Like it's just you're just commenting something and you're moving on. Comment is not a discussion. And when you're commenting on something, like from the word point of view itself, you're not really trying to have a conversation. You're not trying to actually add any input to the thing. Like, I mean, you are trying to add input, but in a sense that I'm just going to say this and go. I'm not trying to understand. I'm not trying to. And of course, our very short attention spans and everything. So I feel like the app is designed that way. And of course, we know that these apps and these social media sites are fueled by our anger or our rage or all of the extreme emotions. They want us to comment and not really talk to each other. That is also important to keep in mind. But yeah, so it's a comment and not a discussion. So I feel like a lot of people, and I think the more you grow on Instagram is when you get these comments, right? Because I feel like it comes from the sense of detachment. When you're commenting on something, I don't think these people expect you to respond to them. I don't think they're expecting to have a conversation. I don't think most of them want to have a conversation. A lot of them are just leaving a joke on it or something like that, which makes sense and it's funny to read sometimes. But I feel like while you are just doom scrolling, maybe, or even if you're mindlessly scrolling, or even if you're scrolling mindfully but for 5 minutes, I think it's very difficult the way the app is designed to engage with each post like that. And people who are commenting are not looking for a discussion, which is what makes this whole thing like that. And even like you said, even if somebody said something bad or said something contradictory to what you posted, and then you reply to them, I feel like it becomes a debate and not a discussion at that point. And I feel like I haven't been in a lot of these situations because I have not really posted as such. But from what I've observed, I feel like it really becomes the person who's posted kind of sticking to their point, trying to stick to their point, hold their ground. The commenter trying to hold their ground. And even though even the most productive comment sections I've seen where people are maybe taking some input out of the other persons, I feel like maybe the part that it's publicly displayed,
Hmm.
anybody can read your comment, anybody can read the creator of the post responding to your comment. I feel like it makes it a space where it's bound to create defensiveness. Okay, like, oh my God, no, I can't be disagreed with. I'm not going to be wrong. So I'm going to defend my point like my life depends on it. Even though maybe I'm wrong in a little bit, if not the whole thing, I'm probably wrong in some points and the creator is making some sense, but I'm not going to agree with that at all because that would mean that I'm wrong. And then the post creator might also not agree with it completely because then it would mean that their post is wrong and their post is up there on their profile.
It makes me think about people who feel confident sharing their opinions,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are few who are just so carefree about sharing their opinion, no matter what it is. They're just like, dash, 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 dash. We should be doing this, we should be doing that, and sharing methods and steps to do, achieve this, achieve that. I think it's very interesting. There has to be a few things that we can learn from them. The confidence is amazing. I mean, I follow a lot of people. I like hearing other people's thoughts and opinions about things. Sometimes I think I even engage with them. What are these two types of people? One who are okay with sharing their opinion on the internet, and this other set of people who are not so okay.
I feel like I'm totally so envious of the people who are confident enough to, just put their opinion out there.
Plus one,
Um,
plus one.
because I consume a lot of that content and it's really helpful. I like it. And, of course, I take it with a grain of salt. I can't imply everything that they're saying. I have to see if it fits with me, if it's compatible with me, and all of that. But a lot of times when people are posting such content, I don't think all of the nuance is highlighted, like in the sense ki, oh, this step would make sense for you, but not for you if you have this,
Mm.
this, this, or like, and this is always exceptions and things like that. And I feel like if I were to make a video like that or make a post like that, I would get too wrapped up into thinking, yeah, but it's not applicable to everybody.
Yeah.
What about the people is not applicable to? What if they feel
Exactly.
left out? And then I get into that rabbit hole, and then I'm not able to express any opinion ever because I'm like, it's just gonna create misunderstanding. What if it creates misunderstanding? What if people don't feel represented in the post? And then I see these posts that are like confidently saying what to do. And of course, that also does not apply to everybody, and there's always exceptions. And actually, you see people commenting about those exceptions also. So I feel like
Yeah.
maybe that's what I'm scared of. Okay, they'll do that with me also. Yeah, I don't know. I guess to have that confidence, you either maybe to an extent do not care. Maybe you're not spiraling. Like maybe you're just like, okay, yeah, this is my opinion, this is what I think, and you're just putting it out there. So maybe it's either that. And then the second kind of people, I'm guessing, are the ones who have accepted that there's always going to be nuance, and they do see that what they're saying might not apply to everybody, and I feel like maybe they think that that is understood. And maybe if somebody even comments about it or somebody points it out, maybe they're gonna take it from the place of, ki, yeah, I know that's right. This post did not represent this, and maybe they're just gonna accept what comes with it. So what I can think of is the spectrum of people who kind of do not think that much about it, or the people who do think about it, but then they're accepting that information they're presenting is simplified and is not to be taken at surface level.
Hmm. That makes a lot of sense. And that's why you have your audience, right? Even in real life, I mean, social media is also quite real life, but matlab, even outside of the social media, you will always meet people who do not share your opinion, who do not share your thoughts, and
Hmm.
articulating it as I'm saying. Suppose you're in a group and you are having this discussion about something, all of you share your opinions. I think if I am the person who's not sharing their opinion, is because I will be scared that, oh, what if they laugh at me? Or what if they don't agree? Or what if my thought is stupid? But if I am the
Hmm.
one who's feeling confident about sharing my opinion, I think it would only come from a place of sharing and not imposing. And
Hmm.
then also being open to listening to other people's thoughts on it,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then, of course, I will see these are the people who agree with me and these are the people who don't agree with me. So maybe this is a topic of interest for certain people and not for other people. And maybe I will be able to continue this conversation with only this set of people and not the
Hmm.
others. And that is okay, right?
Hmm.
People can sometimes also choose what they want to hear about and listen to. And I think that is something that sort of eases things for me a little bit when I'm thinking about it. That I do not have
What do
to
you mean?
cater to everybody
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
on the internet, on
Hmm.
the planet. Oh my God, that will be a lot of people to consider when I'm sharing this one thought of mine.
Do 7 billion people agree with me right now? Yes or no? Vote on the poll.
Exactly. That is so scary. So I think one thing that would help me post my opinions more often, or just also talk more about my opinion in real life as well, would be that this is just a thought that I'm sharing. This is not a fact. And I'll be open to discussing it. I think there's also this huge fear of rejection on the internet. So if let's say I have a certain banter with one of my friends, and if it ends up becoming a fight, and I know that I can go see her tomorrow and make it up.
Yeah.
But what if all the people that I know from the internet reject me? I will not be able to reach out to so many people again, make things up with them, and that is scary. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of won't even make sense. But at the same time, I feel like internet is such a complicated space. When you were talking about how discussions happen in real life versus on social media, and you talked about how somebody addressing a group, talking in a group, and how that would kind of be there. I was thinking about how even when we are in a group, I feel like we would to some extent change the way we are talking depending on the group we are at. We would speak differently if we are in a group that consists of our family members,
Hmm.
group that consists of our friends,
Hmm.
group that consists of our childhood friends, really close friends, or
Hmm.
something like that. Like it would change how you are speaking about certain things, and also completely different when you are speaking to somebody one on one,
Yeah.
which is not possible at all on social media because you are speaking to the same way to everybody.
Exactly. The lines are
And
so blurred.
there is no line. The only line is maybe the close friends, but then I feel like I'm not counting that right now.
Talking about the close friends category on
Yeah, the close
Instagram.
friends on Instagram. Yeah. Like you said, if you have a disagreement with a friend and then you can go make it up with her, that's also not possible on the internet, and it's also not realistic. It's not necessary. Like, for example, if I am speaking to people in a group
Hmm.
and I'm loud, and like a third person listens from that corner of the room because I'm being loud, and then they disagree with me, and then they have a problem with it,
Hmm.
I'm not going to go to them and be like, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
And I'll be like, why were you listening? This wasn't for you.
Yeah.
But I can't do that on the internet. But at the same time, I also can't say that this wasn't for you because I have posted it. It's for everybody, essentially, if you look at it that way. So that's a very confusing line to navigate on the internet because it's almost not. there. It's weird. I mean, I think we forget how bizarre our parasocial relationships on the internet are. It's very weird. It's not normal at all.
Very, very true. The one other point that comes to me is, you know how I talked about when you're talking in the group and this is a topic of interest for certain people and not
Mm.
for other people, and then I end up talking to only these people. Sometimes I would end up talking to only people who agree with me.
Mm.
And when that happens on the internet, that becomes an echo chamber where you only hear opinions that matches your own, so that you're not taken aback by anything that you hear on the internet. And maybe that's one of the reason people go off internet. If I see something very disturbing, or matlab, something that I really really do not agree with, I think I would feel extremes of emotion. Let's say if it's a political issue and somebody is sharing their own political opinion about it, which I don't agree with. So I think it would really upset me, disturb me, and then I would not want to see more of those posts. So I think I, as a person, would go off the internet for some time because, oh, I did not like what I saw, or I feel overwhelmed, etc. And when it is the other way, when I am in the echo chamber that I have created for myself, it feels safer and more predictable.
Hmm. We've also seen how echo chambers are what make people so polarized on the internet because you are on the internet, you think that everybody's seeing the same thing. For example, I know that echo chambers exist on the internet, that my algorithm is going to figure out things that I like and just show me that and connect me to people like that. And I know this information. But I feel like when I'm on the app, I'm not going to be very consciously thinking of it.
Hmm.
And if I'm seeing a post many times, I feel like I start believing that that's what everybody knows. That's also one of the things that prevents me from sharing an opinion because I think it's obvious, because I think I've seen it so many times. Other people must have as well. I forget that their echo chambers look completely different. I start believing that that's what everybody knows. That's also one of the things that prevents me from sharing an opinion because I think it's obvious, because I think I've seen it so many times. Other people must have as well. I forget that their echo chambers look completely different. And the way the internet works is also that your echo chamber is going to show you things that you either really agree with or that you really disagree with. Because they either want you to really agree with it and engage with it in a positive way, or they want you to be like infuriated and be like, yeah, no, this is really wrong.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what happens in the echo chamber. And I feel like it's still different from what you mentioned of, in the group, if you figure out some people agree with you, you're going to interact with them. There's still more nuance to that, because if I am being exposed to the same content as somebody
Yeah.
who has a similar echo chamber as me, and
Hmm.
we're both liking the same post,
Hmm.
the post might mean something completely different for me and it might mean something completely different for them.
Yeah.
But in a conversation, even when we have the same opinion and we might have it for different reasons, there's still a scope for me to understand where you're coming from and you to understand where I'm coming from. And maybe you agree with the same point, but not in the way that I do. And you might still correct me in some form.
Yeah. You know, this echo chamber is so real. So I was really interested in the series Adolescence. I know that you were too. And I thought everybody had seen it.
Oh,
I
yeah. Yes,
thought everybody
exactly.
had seen it. But
Hmm.
I met my friend, my closest friend, and she says she's never heard of it. She
Oh
doesn't.
my God. Even I can't believe that.
Yeah,
Even I
she's
can't
not
believe
heard
that.
of it. It is a series that I would recommend for everyone to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I did
Mm-hmm.
not put a post, I did not share anything on my page saying that, oh, please go watch this show. I really liked it. Because I thought everybody has watched it, everybody is talking about it. But no. So,
Yeah, no.
but yeah, she had no idea about the series. And I was shocked. And I was like, how is that even possible? It is possible
Yeah.
if
And it
I,
happens.
yeah, don't share the same. Yeah. And that's
Okay.
why I know now, or at least I have it on my mind, that it is, I think my opinion would still you know, make a difference.
Oh, yeah, very true. Because, like I said, you think that people already know something, so you don't share it. Because
Yeah.
my circle already knows it. My circle, meaning my algorithm people, not even like my circle, not even my circle of friends.
Yeah,
Just the
exactly.
people in the same algorithm circle as me, the same echo chamber, they all know.
Hmm.
So I think that everybody knows, but people don't know. People don't know what I think. They have completely different opinion. Maybe they're not exposed to the resources that I'm exposed to because I have a lot of psychology content on my page,
Hmm.
and a lot of it also gets a little bit repetitive. And I'm like, okay, this is so out there, everybody's saying it. So I'm like, why would I say it again? And then I realized, yeah, that's not the content everybody's seeing. That's not what they are exposed to. So what I think is so readily available and is so obvious is
Hmm.
not obvious to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you forget that when you're on the internet because you're not thinking about things so deeply. Because, of course, a lot of people are all burnt out and coming on the app to relax, which does not work that way, by the way. But then we do that sometimes, and we don't have a lot of capacity already to be engaging to that level on that app.
Yeah. And I think that's why we are starting this podcast.
Yes.
And I think we're doing it the best way because we're not giving you answers. We're not giving you
Yeah.
shoulds and should not. We are being curious. We are talking about stuff,
Yeah.
trying to figure out stuff with all of you,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, and we're exploring the topic. We are
Yes.
discussing the topic.
Yeah.
We might talk about maybe some things that we think might help, but and some things that we think might not help. But please know that we are really open to your opinions and your thoughts. And if you get any sticky thoughts while listening, please tell us. We would really like to engage and discuss more about these things because that is the whole point, to make this a conversation and a discussion rather than a one-sided this.
And I think the best way to share your opinion, wow, am I sharing my opinion about opinions?
Oh
I
my God, so meta.
so meta. I think I find it best to share an opinion while knowing that you don't know shit. I don't know shit. I don't know shit. I'm just wondering. Yeah.
Thinking out loud, wondering
Yeah.
out loud. And yeah, exactly. So I do guess and I hope that you do take something away from this podcast. But at the same time, I really wanted us to make a point for this to not be this educative or informational space of a podcast where we're bombarding you with information because we're psychologists, but instead it's us discussing as friends who are also psychologists, and you are also part of the discussion, and you can be, and it's a conversational space where we reflect, explore things, and get curious, like you said. So, with that, Kajal, what do you think is the stickiest thought for you from this episode?
The stickiest thought for me would be just this realization that we can be so hard on ourselves trying to cater to actually billions of people on the internet, which is like, girl, it is impossible to do. It is so humbling to realize that I, for one, was trying to do that. And while trying to do that, I stopped myself from sharing my opinion because obviously you can't have something that's interesting to everyone, something that everyone would agree with. If I'm trying to get people agree with me, there's nothing that I can say that will have 8 billion people listen. I'm really grateful that this episode brought me this reality check, and I'm going to try to hold on to this thought. It's important. I think it'll help me calm down, sort of, because this is unachievable. So,
Hmm.
what was your stickiest thought, Smriti?
First of all, I feel like that is so true. And exactly, and I feel like I was trying to do that as well. I mean, I wouldn't have said that. I would have said that out loud that, oh, yeah, I am trying to please 8 billion people right now with my opinion. But I think subconsciously that is what's holding me back. That's what holds me back. Ki, there's going to be people that don't agree with me. And when you look at it from the perspective of, yeah, there's 8 billion, more than 8 billion people on earth, and obviously not everybody's going to agree with you. That's also going to be a very boring place to live in, first of all, where
Yeah.
everybody agrees with each other and there's no conflict at all. That's very unrealistic and never going to happen. And I feel like maybe subconsciously that was the expectation that I was having from myself, where I want everybody to find something interesting or agree to some aspect or whatever. So yeah, that is true. And I feel like the stickiest thought for me from this episode was about how, again, the comment section is the comment section and not the discussion section, which just reminds me how social media is designed for us to not connect. They did not keep that in mind. They want us to be on the app for as long as possible so that they can show us ads after ads, but they don't really care about us actually interacting. And that is why even the layout is structured that way. It's all in the sense that we don't really talk to each other as such. Even when we're commenting on a post, we're not talking to the post creator. We are just commenting something on it. And yeah, so to keep in mind that this is how social media is designed, and it's a very weird place. It's not normal at all. It's not normal interaction at all. And I feel like it slips our mind in everyday use. That's it. And we would really like to know what was your stickiest thought from this episode. Please let us know. We are curious. Hope you have a nice week.
Signing off. Ta-da, bye-bye.